Hi everyone. So I wanted to chat about grit. Now, if you haven't heard that terminology before, grit is something inside of us that keeps us going. It keeps us going through our challenges, through our hard times, when we feel like giving up. It's that fire inside of our belly that no matter what happens, we just keep going. And it is the number one element that successful people all over the world have within themselves. So a few days ago, last weekend, whenever it was, I went outdoor climbing and I finally fitted my GoPro to my helmet, and I had some really cool footage I've never seen, climbing from that angle before. And when I got home, I was watching the footage and it really reminded me of how I got into climbing in the first place, and I wanted to share the story with you. So 4, if not 5 years ago, someone very, very close to me committed suicide. And I was the one who got the message. I woke up on a Wednesday morning and I saw the message on my phone, and he told me where to find himself, where to find his body. And at the time, I prayed that it was just a cry for help and I would find him drunk and depressed and upset. But obviously, you can't ignore a suicide note like that. So I called a friend of mine, a mutual friend of ours, and he had told me that he was on the river. And we drove down and parked the car and we walked up and down the river, and it took about an hour and a half. And my friend took the one side of the river and I took the other. And we walked and we walked and we walked. And sorry, this is literally the first time I'm actually talking about this, and it's been 5 years, but it's still a very, very painful memory. So I walked, and as I came up over a rise, and it was very overgrown, it wasn't a pretty part of the river. And as I came over a rise, I saw his back to me and I saw him sitting, and I immediately started shouting at him, and I said, you are in so much trouble, I've spoken to your mother. And anyway, I'm ranting and carrying on. And as I got closer, I noticed that there was a cord around, he had his hoodie up and there was a cord around his neck, and he had hung himself. So that experience was one of the most traumatic things I've ever experienced, because I blamed myself. I knew that he was going through a hard time, but I'd caught him out in many, many lies. And literally the day before, I'd said to him, you need to pull your socks up and you need to start living with integrity. So I was very, very hard on him. And I've experienced a lot of loss in my life. That's something none of us can escape. But this one, I had to dig really deep to bring myself out of that anguish. And as I said, this is literally the first time I'm ever speaking about this. So fast forward a few weeks or a few months, and I was on autopilot. I was like, just get through. Do what I have to do, answer emails, see clients. I was completely on autopilot. And underneath that all, I was just trying to manage this indescribable grief and guilt and shame and all of these really, really heavy emotions that were consuming me. And then the one night I was watching Everest. I don't know if any of you have seen that. It's like that half documentary, half movie. And I thought to myself, okay, I've got two choices. I can either be buried by this experience and by this pain, or I can use it, or I can use this pain and this experience and this moment in my life where I'm so internal and so self-aware and so consumed by just feelings, like nothing else mattered. I went through the motions and I did what I had to do, and I paid bills, and as I said, I saw clients, and I looked after my daughter, and I made meals, but it was devoid of joy in every aspect. And that night, while I was watching the Everest documentary, I thought to myself, climbing is always something I've wanted to do. And either I find something to hold on to, or I'm going to lose myself from this grief. And I pressed pause, and I Googled, and I found a company, and I went and I booked myself to climb Kilimanjaro, which was something I'd always wanted to do. From there, it sparked off this enormous passion and love for climbing, and I've climbed all over the world now, and I do a lot of indoor climbing, outdoor climbing, as you can see from my video. And from that pain became the most joyful, amazing experience for myself. And this is what I want to share with you all. So none of us will ever escape loss and sadness and betrayal and anguish, and that is part of the human experience. The choices we have, though, is if we are going to be buried by it, or if we are going to use it to rise up and to find inaccessible parts of ourselves that we didn't even know we had. And unfortunately, pain is one of the greatest catalysts that we have. So that grit, to never give up, to keep on going, is what I want to share with you guys today, because I know there are so many people struggling. They are struggling with their families, with money, with just this deep feeling of being purposefulness. You know, like you wake up and you're like, what is the point of my existence? And I really want to tell you guys that there is absolutely no difference between you and me, between every single great human being on this planet who has broken boundaries, who has inspired nations. There is no difference. Every single one of us are human, and within them is exactly what is within you. But no one can give you that element. I can talk to you and I can share my stories and I can share my life path and my journeys. But the ultimate choice to rise up against whatever challenges, whatever fear, whatever sadness you are currently going through is within you. And I hope that you take that moment, and I hope you find that courage to dig in there and to move past it, because I'm telling you now, the good stuff happens after that. And there has been many moments throughout my life where I felt that deep pain and that deep anguish. But without fail, every single time I went into that and I came out the other side, good stuff happened. And I'm not going to say that when you get there, you're going to avoid tragedy. Every single one of us will experience death. Every single one of us will experience loss. But in equal measure is the good. So don't get stuck in the loss, because I'm telling you now, however much loss and pain and fear you are experiencing, there is an equal amount waiting for you. And I implore you to try and find that and to get in there. So I hope you enjoyed my little GoPro thing, and thank you for listening to my story. It's going to be a great week, everybody, and do not give up. Okay, the reason I started this group is that we can all support each other, and we can really see that your struggles are not unique. Okay, all of us go through life. Okay, this is life, guys, but together and with fortitude and with courage and with love, you will get to where you want to be. All right, stay cool, guys. Chat soon.